guys. Well, I'm Tori.
I'm Kimberly.
And welcome to
It's Nothing, It's Everything.
The show your friends will thank you for recommending and your enemies will be annoyed they didn't find first. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and... Oh, I fucked it up.
It's fine. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Share it with somebody cool.
Or somebody who's not cool that needs to be cool.
And leave a review so glowing, it needs sunscreen.
SPF 50.
Get that 75.
Remember did your parents ever do like the Hawaiian tropic oil? The
Yes.
SPF 5. I remember
Yes.
my dad laying out in the backyard.
That's Tori in high school.
Yeah, with the Hawaiian tropic.
Yes.
And I'm like, first of all, us pale Irish Scots,
Mm.
we don't lay out in the sun.
No.
We don't do that.
My dad wouldn't even use sunscreen. Like, he would just bake. But my dad, I mean, like, we are Italian, and so like we tan very easily. But he gets like brown, dark tan.
Like more than you do?
Oh yeah, my dad beats everybody.
You get so brown.
It's so funny. We have like but like at some point in my life, we were trying to compete. like who could get tan, which is not good for your skin. But I was like, Dad, you have to start wearing. And he was like, Nah, I'm not gonna. But he does. His tan is beautiful, and it is very, very. But it is dark, and it doesn't matter how hard. I just get like redder, and then it just stops. Like there's it's used up all the melanin. Like there's nothing else.
I want to see Tori where her skin matches her hair.
But I mean, in high school, we used to take that brown bottle, right? It smelled like coconuts and bananas. And I went to Chelan with a girlfriend. It was just like her and I. It was like we felt so cool because we were still in high school.
Of course.
And we went on her dock. We went through an entire bottle of that. And we baked like cookies out on that dock for, I don't know, 10 hours.
Oh my God. 10 direct hours of sun exposure?
Yeah. And we seriously went through an entire bottle of that. It was brown. Still smells so delightful to me, though. It's so good, but it's so bad.
So bad.
It's so bad. And the older I get, like my skin notices when I don't have sunscreen. I have sunscreen in my car. I put it on every morning, even though we live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, no, because we also live in a part of the world where it's sneaky sun exposure, right? Because it's overcast so much of the time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you have more protection from the sun. That's when I would always get super sunburned going skiing, is on the overcast days. That skier's nose, come on.
Yeah.
Not cute.
For the first time, I burnt my forehead the other day. Like when it started to get nice. And I put sunscreen in my face. I did it. I did it. But like we were running at the gym and we were running outside. And I didn't like sweating.
That's because you had that glistening, that nice.
Yeah. I have my own oil.
That nice magnifying glass of sweat on your forehead.
Yeah.
Just baking yourself like a bug.
And I was like, looked at my face and I said, what's that? And my nose will always get red. Like my nose will get red. Never my forehead. And I was like, oh God. Well.
Getting old.
Caring
about sunscreen, SPFs and stuff.
It's so important.
Caring about like not getting skin cancer.
I mean, my mom's had skin cancer. Like I can't, so many times. I cannot count how many.
Same with my dad.
Yeah. And I got her very moly, like my mother. My mom's very moly, but lighter skinned. My dad, but I got the melanin from my father.
Well, that was nice of him.
But my brother's alabaster. Like he's like,
oh, that's true.
Yeah, he's super fair skinned, and he cannot tan. Like he goes lobster red like that, and then
back to white,
and then back to white.
That's me.
Unless he was cycling, he had the cycling tan.
Oh, like a good farmer's tan.
Oh, and that lasted for years. Because it's so deep in his skin that it was just like when he didn't have a shirt on, it looked like he had a shirt, just a white shirt on.
His body's like, this is just how we produce melanin.
Yeah, and his legs, like the beautifully tan forearms and calves. The rest is just a lot of white.
I am the same. I burn, I lobster, and then I go back to white. Like when we go to Mexico, and I lay out literally every day, but I also have to like regiment myself.
Yes.
I come home and people are like, oh.
Where'd you go?
Yeah.
Iceland?
What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean you went to Mexico?
You're supposed to look glowier than that, right?
Did you ever do tanning beds in high school?
Yes. Yes.
With the sticker?
Yes. I would just wear underwear too sometimes, just so I could have like the underwear tan line, even though I was like naked the rest of it.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. No, I definitely did that.
Oh, the
The
tanning beds.
little
Tanning beds and acrylic nails with a French tip.
uh, still got it. Not the French tip, but I did, man, yeah.
I think I
I
have to go back to acrylic.
I am.
I
That's
can't
where
do the
she's at.
gel. It just like rips my nails
The
off.
gel, I did gel for such a long time. And yeah, my nails got so brittle, which I'm
Yeah.
sure this is also doing brittle, but
But it's
I
fine. You
can't,
just keep
but you
going.
just keep going because I started getting my nails done when I was like 12
Oh, damn.
because of my eczema.
Oh,
It was like a medical thing. My mom was very smart and she was like, I feel like if you had like thicker nail when you would scratch, right? I wouldn't rip open my skin.
wouldn't like paper cut yourself?
And it's real. That's real. I
Smart.
should have gotten
Come on,
insurance to pay
Liz.
for it.
Yeah.
I didn't. But so yeah, I've been getting my nails done since I was like 12. And now it's just like so part of my life. It can't not be part. I can't.
Sure. I get it.
But it was, I mean, smart move. Way to go, mom. But now I just have, but I went back to acrylics. I did dips for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But like getting dip, you have to go in, they have to shave off all
Yeah.
of it. And it would take an hour and a half, no problem, like all the time.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was like,
too
what
too
the
much.
French? And so expensive.
Yeah.
But also inflation. So everything's expensive. I remember when like I'd go get my nails, my hands and my feet done. And it was like less than $50.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
It's $110 every time I go now.
You know what? I really miss that about New York, being able to get a $25 mani
Mm-hmm.
or like a $40 mani pedi. I was always, I mean, obviously, like the market there is very different.
Yeah.
Because there's a nail salon on every corner.
Every corner.
But every time
Should we open
every
one?
time, yeah, let's do it. Every time I move to New York and then back to the West Coast, I'm always like, why is it so expensive out here?
Oh, yeah.
Why is it $100 to get a mani pedi?
Mm.
Bananas.
It is bananas.
Although they really care about the post mani massage here. I feel like they really like dig into the shoulder massage, or maybe that's just the
I
places
think it
I go.
depends on where you go. There's one place that, yeah, I would go because they would always do that. This place I go, they don't. And
They
it
don't
really-
care so much.
It really bums me out. But I do love the owners. And so they like every time I walk in, they remember who I am.
That's nice.
And that is nice.
Come on,
And
hospitality.
I know. They're very nice. And they like, the guy who owns it will remember. I went in with one of my gay friends one time and he was like, is that your husband? I was like, no. He's hella gay. And he was like, yeah, okay. Because I thought, he gave off a vibe, but, I don't want to
Listen, lavender marriages are also valid, okay?
I am just learning about this title of lavender marriages.
Oh,
Why is it called that?
what a great question. I could tell you, but I would just be making it up.
Okay. Because it's, no, I don't know. I'm sure Google could tell us.
Well, I wonder what would happen if we Google that. It's fine.
I want to now. But anyway, keep going. Hi. We're
Hi.
here.
Hey, queen.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Nice sunglasses.
These are my Lady Gaga sunglasses.
I love them.
Yeah. I got them from doing a CrossFit game one time.
feel like I could do my makeup in the reflection of those.
Yeah. I love a reflective
Yeah.
eyewear. I don't know why though.
It's like privacy. You're like, you can't see my eyes.
Yeah.
No matter how
but
hard
you
you
can see
try.
your eyes.
Yeah. No matter how hard you try, you cannot see
Yeah.
me.
I don't like looking at people who have them on. I realize because I'm like, ugh, I just see my face all the time.
You started to tell me something.
Oh my gosh, yes. So you were in my dream last night, and you were the bad guy,
No.
and we were on a. I'm trying to really remember the details. It was like so vivid. I woke up being like, "Has this all been a lie?" I was like, I think it was we were on a plane, and like the plane was going down.
I was the bad guy on a plane?
Yeah, it was like Con Air.
No. Was Nick Cage there?
I was Nick Cage.
Did you have the hair?
And you were you were Malkovich.
Sure. Well, sure.
But it was
That
a
seems
nice
right.
plane, and we weren't convicts. Like it was like a secret.
What do
But
you
you
mean?
like looked at me and you're like, ha ha ha. And I was like, what?
I had like the evil
Yes.
laugh.
You also had your like pixie red hair.
Oh, well, sure. She was evil. Yeah.
She was just dealing with stuff.
She was just going through it.
She was
you
a
know?
good guy having a bad day.
She really was.
Yeah.
What does Dr. Becky say? You're a good kid having a hard time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
Yeah. So what happened? Did you wake up before the plane crashed?
We I think we like pulled it out so nobody died.
Great.
But you definitely were like on the lam after that. Like you disappeared.
What the hell?
I don't know.
What's my problem? Or maybe what's your problem?
I think it's
What's
that's
going
my
on in your
subconscious
brain?
telling about me about our relationship is really what that's what I literally when I
I'm
like
gonna
woke
hijack
up
your airplane.
and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom because I have to go to the bathroom, a few times a night.
Sure.
And I was like sitting there being like, why? Like, what happened?
What does that mean?
What is the subconscious telling me about my relationship with you? And I mean, other than we literally just started a business together. And so I'm like, uh-oh.
I'm gonna hijack your airplane.
It's like we're gonna make our billions. And you're
And I'm gonna run off
and you're
and
gonna take
disappear.
all my money.
That's 100% what it means. Yeah.
Yeah,
You got
that's why we started this.
it. Yeah.
So
Because obviously we
we're
could
gonna
become
make
billionaires.
billionaires.
Hosting a podcast. First ever.
I mean, somebody did it.
If Joe Rogan can do it.
Ugh.
Ugh. Sorry, I just threw up out of my mouth.
Anyway, so yeah, that was my dream.
What a cute dream.
Yeah.
What were we wearing?
Oh, I don't remember. Now all I see is orange jumpsuits.
just completely conflating it with Con Air.
Yeah, I was like, I loved Con Air though. I love that movie. And Face Off too.
Oh, Face Off.
Face
Come
Off.
on.
Yeah.
So good.
Some Face Off. John Travolta.
Yep.
Yeah. In
Who's the wife? Who's the John Travolta wife? It's what's her name?
Yep, it is. It is. What's her name?
This is not gonna end well. Mariska.
Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay.
I don't remember.
No, I don't either. Again, I could Google it, but I'm not going to.
No.
Well,
yeah,
that dream is really special.
Yeah,
we should go see. Let's take it to a psychic. Let's see what a psychic has
oh,
to
I'm
say
sure they
about
would
it.
have. They'd be like, she's gonna steal all your millions.
From your podcast.
Yeah, or like something. I don't know.
I like that fantasy. Were there other people there that we knew?
Not that we knew, but there were people there.
It was like a commercial plane.
Yeah, I felt like the plane
Or passenger
itself had
plane.
like little, not apartments, but like one of those where they had doors.
Suites?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Oh,
suites. Like
we
we were
were-
on a fancy
It was
plane.
transcontinental travel?
Yeah,
How highfalutin.
but you might as well have had like a little mustache that you were just like.
I obviously
and you
was
just-
like curling my mustache
yeah,
while
and
I was
jumped out of the plane, and you were just like, "Gotcha, bitch," and then
with my parachute.
With your parachute. Ooh, sorry, microphone.
But like a Looney Tunes parachute or like a Mission Impossible parachute?
no parachute. Like, yeah, Mission Impossible.
Oh,
We were high end.
Damn.
I know.
Sounds
But
You
the
know,
fact that I also
intriguing.
remember it is unique because I don't remember a lot of my dreams.
same. It's hard. It's hard to
But that
retain
one I think will stick with me.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Well, on that note,
on that note, what are we talking
let's
about
take a hard
today?
right turn.
Yeah.
We got a voice note, and I guess I'm going to keep it anonymous because we didn't
We'll keep it
explicitly get permission to share their name. So we'll keep it anonymous. But somebody sent us a voice note.
Because this is part of our dun 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 KT hot take.
KT.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Hot take. Hot take. That's we'll have to cut that, and
Or
that's what it's
or
gonna
that's
be.
the teaser.
Yeah. Where our listeners can write into us.
Yes.
It's nothing, it's everything podcast at gmail.com.
Or find
Or-
us on Insta
Mhm.
at It's Nothing, It's Everything Pod.
Yes. So that you can send us either a voice thing.
Yeah.
Or write it.
Yeah.
And give us, permission if you want to either stay anonymous or not.
Yeah.
Want to air it all out.
So email us or
Yeah.
DM us your questions.
Yes.
No topic is off topic.
No.
I feel like we've had some more serious questions.
Yes.
But also we have some great ones, like who's your favorite Real Housewife?
Real Housewife.
And like, listen, we're gonna dig into all of them.
Yeah.
So
We better start watching the show.
I know. I have to
'Cause
figure
I
out
don't know.
who they are first.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to the voice note.
Okay, opening up a can of worms with this one. But as someone who is in a new relationship or relatively new relationship with someone that has children, and you feel not the most supportive vibes from both parents, as in my parents and my partner's parents, how would you suggest holding firm and boundaries while allowing everyone to process and wrap their own minds around the relationship with the complexities that comes with blended families. Have fun with this one. Love you guys.
Just straight up dropping bombs. Drop.
Have fun with this one. Bye.
She's like, out. I'm out. Galak. I mean,
Talk about that is a full ass parfait onion situation.
It's a parfait onion.
There's a parfait onion, so it's sticky and gross.
There's peanuts and onions.
Yeah,
And chocolate. Lord, where to start? Okay. So fairly new relationship. He has children.
and like, what's fairly new?
Right. I have so many questions.
So here's, I mean, for
I wish this were live.
going forth, like, there's going to be a lot of moments that we don't know the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And we're not going to fill it in, but to paint the picture of what the information that we have.
Yeah.
So fairly new.
Fairly new relationship. He has children. Neither set of parents are supportive.
Mm.
Yeah. Listen, once you add kids into the mix, it gets tricky.
That's the sticky.
That's the sticky.
Yeah.
That's where the onion meets the peanut. Here's what I can say in like a very generic overview. When you are dating with children, it is just everything's complicated. So, God, and then parents and their big feelings is like a whole other layer that comes, I think, with most relationships regardless. But then when you add kids in the mix, I feel like everyone is territorial because everyone feels like they're trying to protect a small, innocent human because they are.
They are. Best interest.
Yeah. And if I try to put myself in the parents' shoes, relationships are unpredictable, which actually is not false for marriage, right?
No, it's just higher stakes.
Yeah.
It just gets more expensive.
It just gets way more expensive.
Yeah, just more expensive.
But like you could be in a new relationship or you can be in a 10 or 20 or 50-year established relationship and
and you still have to go separate ways.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard with kids no matter what. I mean, here's the thing. If you are a parent, if you are a single parent and you are interested in being partnered, there are probably going to be some hard boundaries that you have to draw with your parents.
Yeah. Also, it's I'm like, it's none of your business. Like that's kind of where I'm like, it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for caring.
Well, but also like
I appreciate the care, but also like this is my life.
Yeah.
Like you're not in the everyday. You're not seeing those things. You're not seeing. My biggest thing would be like, are you ready to be are you ready to be a mom?
Yeah.
What are is the biological mother there?
Yeah.
Is it a shared custody? Are they always there? Like,
yeah,
are we living in a little apartment together?
Right. Is their divorce finalized? Are they only separated? I mean, I think that like the circumstances of the separation of the biological parents, I think is very important.
Very important. That's a Les Mis sized red flag for me.
It's a big old red flag.
Like as long as we're on the same page, there's no red flag, right?
Right.
But
ultimately, it's the decision and the details come from the two people in the relationship. They should come from her and from the father of the children. The two of them together have to decide what their boundaries are with one another and with regards to the children, and then their boundaries with the outside world. And that has to be established, I think, before you can get too far. And I mean, honestly, the tricky thing about dating with children is that like nobody knows how to do it until you do it. And then when you do it, every single person is different. I dated the person that I dated before I met Nick. I was very cautious with Rosalind about. It was also like nuanced because we were friends beforehand. And so like they already knew each other, so that it added this layer of like confusion for me. But I still was very like, I didn't ever want him to be alone with her, in that like I was never gonna like rely on him to be primary parent for her, because to me it was like, well, this is still a relationship and we're still figuring out the dynamic. And also like he had to figure out whether or not he really wanted to be in a relationship where there was an additional responsibility of a small innocent human.
Yeah.
And so I had to hold boundaries for myself And for my daughter, because I didn't feel confident in me being able to make that decision to say, like, yes, I am willing to let you in a layer deeper with my child, because I hadn't necessarily seen behaviors from him that made me feel confident in that.
Mm.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think you have to really like go into it with an open mind and figure out how you're gonna respond and react and also cope. Like you will
Yeah.
have to cope because the majority of the time the other parent is in the picture still. And what is that relationship like? And is it healthy on any level?
Yeah,
What
right.
is what there's dysfunction in every relationship,
What's the
right? So like,
reason that they're no longer together?
yes, what does
Yeah.
their dysfunction look like? To me, that's more important. Is
Right.
like, can you, as the person coming into the relationship without a child, hold strong enough boundaries with the person that you're dating
Mm-hmm.
and then with the people that come with them,
Mm-hmm.
the child and then the other parent, who will always be in the picture. Can you hold strong enough boundaries and clear enough boundaries and uh, I hate to use the word moderate, but like moderate enough boundaries, right? Like you have
Yeah.
to have some kind of flexibility.
Yeah.
But then also it's going to evolve as you spend time and learn over time whether or not it's actually realistic for you to consider being a responsible adult in this child's life.
Well, and what are the parents uh like, are they just not happy with the relationship in general?
Yeah, what are the parents' concerns?
Yeah.
Is it difference in approach to parenting? Is it difference in approach to relationships? Is there an age difference? Is there a socioeconomic difference?
Yeah.
Is there, right? Like there's so many variables, but
Also,
I
what does
would
the
say,
kid have to say about it?
yeah. Yeah,
How
and
old is the kid?
how old did she say kid or kids? Either way, yeah.
Either way.
How old are they?
Yeah.
And then like if you who sent the voice note,
Mhm.
dear reader,
Dear reader,
dear reader,
dear
dear
listener.
listener, if you have the ability, which is so hard, to remove yourself from the situation that you are in and step outside of it and look at it from a neutral perspective,
Mm.
do you think that any of their concerns are founded? And if yes, sit down with them
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, you know what? I see that concern and I agree with that concern, or I also have that concern." You can use, if you can relate to any of their concerns, you can use that as a way to get on the same page with them and say like, "Listen, I'm also concerned about that.
Mhm.
And here's what I'm planning to do to be able to either mitigate those concerns for myself or work through them for myself."
Yeah.
But I do not believe that either party in this scenario should be making decisions to appease the parents. I think that's highly
No.
inappropriate. I also didn't necessarily get the impression that that's what she was implying, but I'm sure it also adds a layer of friction
But I mean, obviously it was
because
important enough to bring up.
right.
Right.
And I'm sure it adds a layer of friction because when you have a child, and especially when you're a single parent, your parents are your support system to a certain
Yeah.
extent. And
Yeah.
so that's a hard thing to be in disagreement about.
It's very hard. Even as somebody who's not in conflict with that, taking the consideration of like help from your family because childcare ain't freaking cheap,
Yeah.
right?
Nope.
And so like knowing being like this will cause friction, and to what layer of friction am I going to lose my childcare,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of there's more onion there because it is like I don't want to disapprove so much that they take their funding,
Right. Yeah, yeah. That they pull their support.
they pull their support.
But I also think there's a big generational difference here
Yeah.
where and I will speak to my own experience. When I was a single parent, my parents were very concerned about who the next person was going to be.
Mm,
And I was like, I don't that's something I have to figure out.
mm,
And I can't just like assume that the next person I date is going to be the next person
right.
because it's still dating. And like
Which is so fun to begin with.
right, and like I still have to decide if that person makes sense for me.
Right.
And that it still is a decision that has to be independent of the child.
Mm,
Full stop.
mm,
And so then like when you I mean I feel like I'm really not stuck on, but the thing that keeps coming back to me is the fact that she said this is a new relationship.
yeah.
Are the parents expecting anybody to make a decision? Are the parents having a hard time with the fact that you guys are exploring the relationship and figuring out if it works for you or not? Do they have an expectation that because there is a child in the picture that like you have to know what you're doing and you have to move forward. And are you marriage material or not marriage material? I don't think that's pressure you should be putting on yourselves or the
No.
relationship. It's
No.
also so much more common in our generation for single parents to date.
Yes.
People are chosen single parents often.
Mhm.
Separations are far more common now, especially now that women are allowed to ask for divorce, which is only new in the last 50 years. So like the stigma that comes along with single parent dating,
Yeah.
I feel like is really held close by the older parent generations,
Mm.
whereas we see things very differently. I would say, like, if your relationship is still new, focus on that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say that to the parents too, to your own parents too. Like, we're still just trying to figure each other out
Mm-hmm.
and like navigate whether or not this relationship even makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you decide at a certain point that you like him enough that you want to take things to whatever the next level is, then it becomes a consideration of like, am I ready to be a responsible party for an innocent child?
Yeah.
I don't think you can look at the whole thing all at once. You have to
Mm.
take it layer by layer.
Yeah, but it's so hard not to see the whole picture. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so hard to not see the whole picture.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, I want to be with this person, but they also come with this other person.
Yeah.
And that person most likely is going to take up a lot of their time.
Time, energy, resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yet again, is the kid / kids, there all the time? Or is it
Yeah,
partial
what's the-
custody?
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean,
Is it a newborn?
is it
an
a
independent
newborn? I mean,
child?
is it a 15-year-old? Like, who is, more independent and, but that also comes with its own fun things, I'm sure. Those mouthy kids,
Yeah.
right? Being
Big ol'
like,
mouths.
be like, you're not good enough for my dad.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
You're not my mom.
you're not my mom. Oh my God. You're not my real mom. I'd be like, nope, I'm not.
Sure not.
But
You didn't come out of my cooter.
stealing's bad, no matter what kind of parent I am. I don't know why the kid's stealing, but
Well, sure.
I've written a whole story in my head about this.
You have decided this 15-year-old is a kleptomaniac.
You said take it component by component. I said, no, I want to take it all. All of it. I want the whole cake.
Full drama.
I want drama always. No. Oh
We
my
are going
gosh,
days of
no.
our lives. We are going.
No, because that doesn't benefit anybody. But like the hard thing is communication.
Yeah. And how well do you and this person and your
Communicate.
partner communicate?
Yeah.
And how well can you navigate those uncomfortable conversations? Can you, first of all, sit down with yourself
Mm.
and look for the things that make you uncomfortable about this relationship? Like, can you set aside, especially if it's a new relationship and the hormones and everybody's feeling great and it's like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, but like, can you in this moment find the things that make you uncomfortable and then talk about those things with your partner? Because the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can start navigating towards the bigger, more uncomfortable conversations of like,
Yeah.
how do we navigate if this relationship continues to move forward? How do we each envision parenting?
Yeah.
And what does that mean to the non-biological person? Parent, responsible party, whatever title you choose to go with further on down the line, right? Like you have to be able to work your way towards those hypothetical conversations without committing to them.
Yeah.
And that can be really hard.
Well, right, because it could shift.
Yeah.
At
And
any moment.
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of mental fortitude,
Yeah.
to think about. Because dating's hard as is.
God, dating
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
makes me want to vomit to
Yeah.
think about.
I'd be like, you stuck with me, babe. Patty and I are there for until death.
And then some.
And then some. Because just out of the sheer will of not wanting to have to date.
Trash.
Watching people have to do it now.
No.
But God bless. Like,
God bless.
Get out there.
I mean, and just because it's different
Mhm.
and or more difficult
Mhm.
doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
No.
And if you decide for you that the difference or the difficulty is not sustainable, that has to be your decision
Yeah.
and not your parents' decision. And I think that it's very appropriate for you to create a hard boundary and say this is not your conversation to have. You can express your concerns or not. If you don't want to hear their concerns, you also have the right to say, I'm not interested in hearing your concerns right now. I'm working on figuring this out for myself. I'm not looking for outside input.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then also, like, do you respect the parents' opinion?
Yeah.
Because you might not,
Yeah.
you know?
I have
And that's okay. Like, I think that,
totally.
I mean, that's coming from somebody who's a parent pleaser, and that's been a hard lesson for
Yeah.
me from teenage years to even now, where it's like, I might not agree with everything that my parents feel,
Yeah.
and like getting uncomfortable, like being uncomfortable, being like, oh my gosh, well, then I'll just do it their way. Like, I remember I had a boyfriend in high school who I was told I can't be with. And
By your parents?
mhm,
Why?
uh,
Did he
he
have a child?
no, he did not have a child. He was a child himself. He super smart dude, like, took the SATs, got it perfect without studying.
Oh,
One of those,
gross. Yeah.
like, just he a full-blown genius. But he had some real darkness.
Well, when you're that smart, yeah,
Uh-huh.
your brain just
Right,
functions differently.
like, you function differently, and
Yep.
so uh, my mom was a teacher of his and was like, "You have some darkness, but you also have some really lightness, like, you get to choose. Like,
Yeah.
you choose what shade you wanna be." And he just always wanted to got into, like, body modifications and piercings when we were in college.
Sure.
Uh-huh, and did a suspension.
Oh.
Yes, suspension, for those who don't know out there, was where you take big ol' meat hooks and you hook it in your back like a fucking fish, and somebody hoists you up. And it's supposed to be euphoric and blah, 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 whatever. Like, that's your freak flag to fly. But because I was in love with this boy, I went, and we lived in New York at the
Like, you
time.
watched it?
Oh, yes.
Oh
I
my
went to
God.
quote unquote support him. But there's a picture of me. This is before like, this is fresh Facebook. Fresh. Only colleges
Yeah.
had Facebook, right? This is that era. And there's a picture of him hanging, and I'm in the background with my arms crossed, just being like, so like, look at you, you idiot.
Dude,
Like,
what was going through your head?
I mean, there's probably a little bit of disassociating,
Sure.
like, just
Slightly.
like, where am I? Like, we're in the middle of fucking Brooklyn and in some person's home. And, and he was like, I'm not going to tell people about it. This is not a boy who did not tell people about things. And it's because he was like, I'm doing it for the feeling. Right. And I was like, okay. And I, wanted to be a supportive partner.
Sure.
And so I go, oh man, when they took him down is really where, for you sensitive tummy people, plug it up, because he laid down, right? They take you down. I mean, I think also just sheer amazement of the human body. Like,
Yeah.
how did the meat hooks not rip out of your back? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, how is that gonna hold? How is that gonna hold? Like, I was just fascinated.
Yeah.
But like, there's not a life in where that's what I want to do with my time. And so they took him down. They put him on the back. They're like, there are gonna be some air pockets. And so they started his low back and they pushed the air pockets out, and it was like out of these holes. And I was just like, whoa. Anyway, long
Oh
story
my
long.
God.
There was that picture, and somebody put it on Facebook. And since my mom taught at the high school where he had still some friends,
Oh.
they all ran to my mother and they showed her. And my mom,
And now she's 3,000 miles away and cannot
and she
control
is
anything you're doing.
and she is 100%. And I mean, like, my mom's always, they were so supportive. Like, they knew his name was Andrew, and he is no
Oh.
longer with us. The dark side got him.
Buddy.
Fentanyl got him.
Oh, shit.
And that was probably in the last 2 years that happened. And or at least that's what I was told. That's what
Sure.
happened. But anyway, so they all showed him, or my mom went to the counselor. She sat in the counselor's office and cried. And
She went to the school counselor?
she went to the school counselor and cried.
no.
And then she went home and told my father.
Oh, no.
And that is where it really, I think, the tides turned, because my dad, who was a pilot at the time, he was like, hey, Easter, oh my God, Easter just happened. This is an anniversary. We're having an anniversary real time. Because on Easter, he never flew to the East Coast. Like, he was, he never did. But he was like, hey, I have like a random flight I'd love to take you out Easter brunch.
Oh, how convenient.
And so I was like, okay, that's all right. So he's like, let's just like you and me. And so we went to, God, what is it? St. John's on like Fifth Avenue,
Sure.
right? That big, beautiful church. And we were there Easter Sunday. And here's my dad. And he's like, you have to break up with him. I said, huh? Now, yeah, they were right. But like also, it was also, I probably would have figured it out myself.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully.
Sure.
Right? I mean, because this was the beginning of the end. That was the pinnacle point where it pivoted. Because then I went to he was at NYU
Mm-hmm.
while I was at AMDA, and in New York, and I went and I broke up with him
After
after my
that
dad.
brunch.
My dad taught. So he was like, "You have to," and I had never disagreed with I'd never disagreed with my family,
Sure.
and so I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I did. I went and probably 2 hours later, I went begging back and being like, "I'm kidding. I'm in love with you." But that had pushed him past the point. He was like, "I can't trust you."
Yeah.
And so we
Did
did.
you tell him my parents don't
Yeah.
want me?
Yeah. And he was like, I can't remember if we got back together then and then broke up later. If we broke up, we got back together. But then there was the uphill climb of like, for me, of talking to my parents and be like, I'm with this person. I love them. I don't understand why you can't support me in that.
Yeah.
Then he and I did break up, and I had the worst summer of my life because I was still trying to like hang out with him because our group of friends was still hanging out.
Ugh.
I did some really self-destructive things. And it was actually my brother who was like, we were at a Subway randomly, and I'll remember this. He's like,
In New York?
no,
Oh.
this is summer, so I was back
Oh,
for the
okay.
summer.
Sure.
And we are at a Subway with like my best friend, and he was like, "Listen, Tor," and I was like, full Avril Lavigne depression mode. Like, I was just like so sad all
Flat
the
iron
time.
bangs over one eye.
Yeah, there was like a lot of makeup going on, and
Sure.
and I would put myself in places I should not have been. Like when we'd go and like have a party at the house he was living at, and there's like girls, he's like piercing people's vaginas and things like that, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. That doesn't affect me at all. Like horrible. It was
Oh my
horrible.
God.
It was a real painting with colors. Now that's some of my past, and so, but my brother was like, you know what, Tor, you can be with him. You can. Like, if let's just give it 6 months.
Yeah.
Just give it a few months. And if it's meant to be, then be together.
Yeah.
Like in a few months, once you've had just like a breath, like then be together. But like maybe that breath and the breath is what I needed.
Yeah. Once that anxious attachment has been removed.
But the fact that somebody like they weren't just like, do this. And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like he gave me an option.
Yeah.
He gave me
he put you in the driver's seat.
And so like that was a real like, oh, I guess there's going to be times in my life that I don't agree with my parents.
Yeah.
And I still love them. Like two things can be true at the same time, right? Like I still love my parents, and I think that yes, they were right, right? Like they were right.
Yeah.
But I think I needed to get there in my own terms. I needed to see some
Sure.
of the shenanigans. And thank God, because for his life, it went down into a deep dumpster, and he took some of the people with him. Well, yeah, there's other parts of that story that I'm sure we'll do a whole podcast about, because there's some friendships that were ruined, and some life lessons for me that were like, oh, trust is.
So it affected your whole circle, not just
It
you.
was my whole circle.
Yeah.
And and I'm very blessed because I went, gosh, after AMDA, I moved to LA after, which because he was still in New York, but
Oh,
then
that's
he
good.
couldn't afford to go there anymore. Went to another place with one of my ex best friends.
Oh.
They started a drug running company.
Company. I'm sure they pay taxes.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, just he like came back into my life very few times as I think just a gentle reminder of like where it could have gone.
Yeah.
When I was engaged to Pat, he randomly called, and I remember picking up the phone, It was like before caller ID. And so I just picked up the phone
Yeah.
and I heard his voice and it was like my my heart dropped into my butt.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God. And he was like, hey, what's up? Just like checking in. I was like, that's
Oh,
weird.
out of nowhere?
Yeah. And I was like with Pat and
Did your
out of
whole
nowhere.
ass body respond? Were you
Oh yeah.
shaking?
No, yeah. I was like,
Full
and
adrenaline?
yeah, and I was like, do I tell Pat? Like,
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, it was like part of me reverted back to college Tori
Yeah.
and didn't know. And I am a believer that you have multiple soulmates. Like I think that you
Absolutely.
have, right? And with different
100%.
versions of yourselves, you have the soulmates that you have. And he was one of mine. Like I do truly still believe that.
Yeah.
And, but man, anyway, this is not even about me, but like, but that clash of me and my parents.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's still some grown-ups who have to follow what their parents say. Like they're so indoctrinated into
Sure.
that family dynamic.
Yes.
That is also probably part of the onion that we're talking about. Is like, how indoctrinated are you?
Yeah.
Can you say no to your parents and still be authentically yourself?
Yeah. And what
Is it the first time, or are you used to that? Right?
Yeah. And what rifts does that cause for you if you say no to your parents? And
Yes.
and is there validity in their concern?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like there's so many considerations.
Yeah.
Do you believe that anyone's concern has validity at any point? And just because you do doesn't mean you have to address it either. You fully have the right to say, I'm not willing to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
I have to figure my shit out first.
God, I wish I had I wish I had that tool.
I mean,
I wish I had that tool. Why do you have that tool?
therapy?
Everybody needs therapy.
Everybody needs
Yeah.
therapy.
And drugs are good.
And some.
Well,
Some are not.
as we just learned.
As we just learned.
Some drugs are not good.
Some are bad.
Some are bad. But
you
they
have
also-
the right. This is your life, right?
Yeah.
And unless you are, I mean, then it gets messy, right? Like, unless you are living under your parents' roof and they're buying your groceries, which I certainly hope if you're dating a man with a child, none of those things are true for you.
Mhm.
But like, if there is a situational dynamic that does allow them to have an input on your life choices, I would say number one, get out of that situation. But like, unless that's happening, unless
Yeah.
your parents are paying your bills, I don't think they really get to have a say on how you live your life. They can express concern and you can either take time to hear it and hold space for it or not. And both
Yeah.
of those decisions are your decisions to make. But like, I would say the biggest thing is you and your partner together, independent of the whole rest of the world, have to get clear on what your relationship foundation is.
Mhm.
And then you guys also have to get clear, like, is this a long-term thing? Are we just feeling it out? You also don't have to go into it saying, is this a long-term thing, right? But like, that's something that you do have to think about at some
At
point.
some point.
But
yeah.
in the meantime, he's a single parent. He's going to date. It's going to happen. His child or children are going to meet people that he's dating. That's a normal part of being a single parent.
Well, and how does he communicate with his child about those things too?
Yeah.
I think really matters.
And I think that as long as you guys are on the same page, right? Like
Mhm.
I think about when my parents got divorced, I was very exposed to both of them dating. I met several of each of their partners throughout my childhood. And that was fine. I mean, luckily neither of them ever brought anyone dangerous home. So, they were both smart about that. But the reality is, if you are a single parent and you do not want to be a single parent, you want to be a partnered parent, you're going to date, which means your child is going to meet people. And
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes. And so if that's the thing that they're not okay with, sorry, parents, but tough shit a little bit. Because if he's going to be pursuing that for his own vision of his own life, then that's just what it is. That's just how it goes. But I think, at the risk of repeating myself for the 5 millionth time,
I don't think so.
you individually, as your very own person, have to get on some kind of page for yourself.
Mm.
First step. And then second step is you and your partner have to get on the same page about very, very basic things. And then you also have to, I think this is also a great opportunity to learn and witness how he handles boundaries with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
Does he allow?
What are the lessons you're learning from watching? That's good.
Right? Like,
That's
does he
good.
allow his parents' opinion to influence his decisions?
Right? Has he learned that lesson?
Does he
Do I
allow
need to talk
his
to him?
Yeah, does he allow his parents' decisions to influence you? Like, is he
Mhm.
letting it bleed over into your experience? If either of those things are true, I would say, babe, take a step back.
Yeah.
Like,
Red flag.
you don't want to get tangled in that, especially
Mm-mm.
when there's a child involved. However, if he has the ability to draw that hard line in the sand, then that's his job to do. It's not
Mm.
yours. It's your job to manage your parents' opinion,
Yeah.
and it's his job to manage his parents' opinion. And if both of you guys can do that successfully, great. You've already done one of the big hard things. And
Mhm.
then you get together and get on the same page, and you say either like we're just feeling it out and that's great, or you say like we're really excited about each other and we want to see where this goes and like we're excited about the potential future of this, and that's also fine. But like get really clear together on I feel like this is a marketing exercise. Get really clear together on what your messaging is.
And we'll circle back.
knowing your target audience is going to be a difficult and probably slightly ignorant target audience.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's gonna go how it goes. But like, if either party of parents has the impression that they get to be part of the decision making,
Mhm.
there's bigger problem.
Mhm.
And I say light that shit on fire and run away. Uh, or it
No
becomes
chill
a test,
there.
right? No, or it becomes a test, right? Like, can he make a different decision? Can he then decide
Yeah.
to establish
Or
boundaries with
how
his
do you
parents for
work
the
through
first
it
time? Or
together?
can you?
Yeah. Or what can you work through together?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, God, adulting is hard,
Adulting is hard.
first of all. And then dating is hard.
Ugh.
And then when you add a child into the mix, I think there's this idea that we all want to protect the innocent child, right? In this
Mm.
scenario,
Yeah.
which I get. I
Yeah.
mean,
We
I've
even said it. Yeah.
yeah, like I get that impulse so deeply, but like you can't use the child as a weapon
Mm.
to try to have control over adults' lives.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I mean, listen, I want to follow up. I have so many.
I do. To this person who sent in this question, first off, I want to say thank you.
Yes.
Like,
Thank you for trusting us.
Thank you for. I mean, yeah, the fact that you trust us with such an intense and beautiful, nuanced question. I mean, that's like so. That's so nice that
Yeah.
you trust us. Honored by that. So there's that. 2, we'd love a follow up.
Please.
Like, can we have a part 2?
Yeah. Can
How
we
is
get an
everyone
update?
doing? Can you answer the questions of how
All
old
of
are these? How old are these babies?
What? Yeah. Well, I just want to know what.
the other mom?
Yeah. Where's the other mom? What are the parents' specific concerns?
Yeah.
And also, like, how do you feel?
Yeah. I think period point blank do not pass go
Yeah.
with that. It's
You're
like,
number one.
you're number one.
And the
You're
last
fine.
thing that I will just
yeah.
preemptively warn you about
Go.
is when you are accustomed to being an independent adult in relationships.
Which this person is very independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you are accustomed to being an independent adult in relationships,
Mhm.
and then you find yourself in a relationship where you don't get to make number one decisions for yourself anymore because all of your decisions are going to be influenced by the best interest of the child. I think you also really have to get clear with yourself. Is that a sacrifice that you're ready to make?
Yeah.
And it's also okay if you don't know the answer, but
Mm.
you have to know that it will be a sacrifice to be with this person. And I do not think that's a bad thing
No.
at all. But it will be different than any other childless relationship.
Yeah.
And so, does that additional consideration, do you feel ready to be that kind of selfless in a relationship? And if the answer is no, that's okay. And if the answer is yes, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know that for yourself
Mhm.
first.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Because, kids are a lot.
Oh, kids are a lot, and they just keep changing.
And they really love to throw a stick in the spokes,
But I will say it's the fastest way to grow.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, never did I get wiser faster.
Yeah. So listen, send us all of your questions
Yeah.
or hot tops. Hot tops? Stop. That was supposed to be topics, but I stopped at tops.
Hot topic.
Hot top. Oh, that's Hot Pocket. Yes. Hot Pocket. That should be the jingle for our hot take.
Hot topic. Hot.
Hot. Wait.
Too many syllables.
No, too many things. I'm trying to fit too many things into a small place. Well, God bless.
It can be done. It just takes time and
time and energy.
patience and
So for everybody,
lubrication.
send us your questions. Send us like, comment, share. Can you subscribe? I don't know.
Yeah, on Spotify. Oh, we're about to go live on Apple too.
We-
For those of you who have been
Oh.
asking, we know that we are not on Apple yet. We know, we're sorry, we know. It's coming.
It is
It's
coming.
actually, by the time this episode's live, it will already be there. We're also on Apple now. Hooray!
So do all of that. Give us the stars that you believe we deserve,
Which is
5.
7. Figure it out. It's Nothing, It's Everything podcast at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or on Insta, we're It's Nothing, It's Everything pod. Which you should be following us there anyway, because we have fun shenanigans over there.
Because also we will put like things that have to do with the episodes that are going up.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah, like when Tori talks about Avril Lavigne Tori, we'll probably have to
Ooh, I
post a
gotta
photo
find
of
that.
her.
Maybe I can find that picture. We
Yes.
don't want that on our.
Is there a belt? Is there like a studded belt situation?
Oh, it's chunky. Everything was chunky back then, right?
Mhm.
Chunky earrings, chunky necklaces, chunky belts, chunky shoes.
Gaucho pants.
Yeah, skirts with Ugg boots. Like, was I cold? Was I hot? I don't know.
2-layer lace tank top.
Yeah, it's back. Go to Fred Meyer's.
Go to Fred
Anyway,
Meyer.
on that, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. See you next Tuesday.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Right at an hour.
Fucking crushed it.